Sometimes you have to do that because the easy challenge is one you'll get lazy with. The big challenge gets you hungry.
Oh, how the tables turn.
That's a heavy topic, and we need to focus on that. If not for yourself, then do it for your children.
Black book is in
Hey,
Black
book.
Men Talk, Black Book. What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show. And you know what? Terrence, we're not supposed to bring you on yet, so we're going to take you back for just a second. We'll do that. All right. We got it all right. It is Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations. And I'm the host of Epic Conversations, 2018 Innovation Award winner, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads, fathers, and male caregivers. It's sponsored by BLKMEN Care. And being part of that movement, we've reached out directly and indirectly to over 400,000 dads, fathers, and male caregivers around the world. So as always, I'd like to see your blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, solution for someone's problem. What is up, Kofi Sadat?
Happy Sunday. Good to be here, man. Listen, I call it a happy Sunday rice and peas. That's exactly what I had. I came by my parents' house. I had some rice and peas for dinner, so I'm good. I'm happy about that. How are you doing, brother?
I'm doing fine, man. I'm doing fine. We had a rain shower to cool off the nice weather. It was an interesting day today. It was warm, but it wasn't sunny.
Yeah. I got all in my weather feelings. I'm like, oh, it's warm out here. I'm not gonna wear a jacket at all. Bro,
weather feelings?
Wet up, brother, wet up. But I'm enjoying the April showers in October. We'll take that.
Hold on, weather feelings?
Weather feelings, man. I thought, okay, cool. It's nice and warm. I don't need a jacket. I forgot where I live. And I always need a jacket. You know what I'm saying? Always when you're in Canada, you never know. Again, like I said, it went from spring, summer, and a little bit of fall all in one day. So yeah,
I'm still trying to work through the weather feelings bit.
The weather feelings, man. You can't get caught up. You can't get caught up, brother.
All right. So as always, give us a win from the past week.
You know what? I got a win from today. I had the pleasure of connecting with my brother Kofi in the flesh. Right?
Yeah, how's he doing?
Man, he's doing well. He's doing really well. He fed us good. I don't want to let the secrets out, but we had a nice vegetarian meal. And another brother, I got to give a shout out to my brother Malik as well.
Yes.
Yeah, man. So we got together because we're always talking about, we need to get together. But I saw the importance of actually making the time. I got to big up my chest. I won the domino game. We were playing some dominoes. We played some Ludi. Hail up Malik. Yeah, you took us out on the Ludi. But I just, my win for the week really is, making the time to spend with the brothers in this particular case, and we always say we're going to do it, but to actually make the time and do it, started my day off perfect. So I want to give a shout to my DK brothers, my Duacro brothers. And yeah, that was my win. What about yourself? What was your win for the week?
You and I are twin sons of different mothers, because one of the great wins I had this week, I don't know if I'd mentioned before, but close friend, she passed a few months ago. And been bugging her husband to go out. So I just said, we're going out this day, because it seems that's the only way this is the day we're going out. So I took him to a place in Scarborough. They're not getting paid for this, but I'll promo called The Avenue.
The Avenue, yeah.
And he was all over it. Like once the corn soup hit, it was over. It was over.
Yeah, what could you say?
It was over, but it was good fellowship, good time spent, good conversation. It also, too, is going to be challenging because this Thursday, would have been him and his wife's 43rd wedding anniversary.
Yeah, for sure.
A few of us are saying, okay, what do we do that day? What do we do that day? So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, man. Celebrate. Even in times of challenge, we gotta celebrate each other and have that fellowship and that connection because it makes a difference. It really does make a difference, right?
Yeah, but it was a really good time. Really enjoyed it. Had a good time out. Look who's in the house. Frequency Event Promotion says greetings and salutations. Greetings and salutations,
my brother.
Man. All right. He says, just tuning in now. Look, you're on time. You're on time.
But other than that,
it's so good that you and Kofi and Mal got together. And I really encourage, especially our Black men, to be intentional with that. Be intentional with that. Really make the time to have those. Well, okay. No, it's just someone got, okay, so quick rewind because you're late. A good associate of mine, him, a couple, the wife transitioned a few months ago and took the husband out finally for a good dinner. We made the time intentional, and this Thursday would be their 43rd wedding anniversary. So there you go. Yeah. All right. Anything else happened during the week?
Just really kind of enjoyed. Actually, it's like it's been a weekend of games. We did a Comedylicious launch.
Yes.
And thank you for the sponsorship, and it was great to get some tickets
pleasure.
out. Yeah, but we did the launch yesterday, and it really was just what was cool about it was like a game night plus a little laughter and of course grub, some food, right? Big up to Honey Guru who did the food.
Yes.
It was really nice, really nice. But yeah, it was just what there were families that were there were different people that were there, but just to see people play games, the personalities come out. You get to see the ones that are like the sore losers, the ones that are laid back, the ones that like all different types of personalities came out. So it was good. So big up to Roseanne as well, Roseanne Bailey, for the 910 Queen Street West studio. Hopefully we'll do some stuff over there as well. But it was good. She said
you keep on mentioning this place. So
yeah, we gotta go. We gotta go.
Oh man. Man.
I know. Downtown. I know, bro. I know. But you know what? I will say it's worth the ride down.
I know. I hear you.
I hear you.
I'm gonna have to get out there. Yes, I hear you. We'll walk with that. We'll work with that. We'll find a way of making that happen. So, but I'm glad to see you saw brother Kofi. Because my only communication with him these days is digital, because I know he's saying doing the plantation thing, corporate plantation thing. So
there you go.
You got to do what you got to do. All right, we're going to take a quick little break, come back with some housework, and then we have another new friend that's going to check us out, and we're going to check them out. But first things first, we'll be back quick. Here we go.
Check out The Morning Vibe on Mondays and Fridays at 9 a.m. Eastern on the Dr. Vibe Show YouTube channel with Dr. Vibe and Ryan Knight, where they discuss important subjects between themselves or have conversations with people who you need to know about.
All right, check it out. Monday and Friday mornings, 9 a.m. All right.
Love it. Love it.
There we go. So welcome to Black Men Can Talk, a show where Black men come together to have real, unfiltered conversations about life, culture, and community. Subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show and hit the notification button. Please like the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Substack. And if you want to advertise your business, product, or service on any of the platforms, email me at dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. And also, if you have a question or take, go on your whatever digital device to callme.rode.com, put in the code FSPL8L. You'll get to another screen, put in your name, make sure the echo cancellation is turned on, and then to join conversation, and we'd like to have you in. But we have a new friend today, so I'm going to let Paul introduce. Go ahead.
Welcome, my brother. If we can pull you up, but we'll do
Okay,
a little
we'll pull them
introduction
up.
first.
Here we go.
We'll do a little introduction for you first. So I want to welcome our brother Terrence Francis, who's a business manager, a program coordinator, a former pro boxer. We're going to get into some of that, a boxing coach and the trainer, and also one of the founders and directors of FMB, which you again will find out more, as well as a great all-around guy, a father, a family man. Welcome to Black Men Can Talk, my brother Terrence.
All right. Thank you, Paul. It's great being here. And Dr. Vibe, love what you guys are doing. It sounds very, positive, and definitely try and keep in and gain a little bit more from your Sunday evening shows here.
Great. I'm going to ask a quick little favor. Is there any way you can move your camera down? Or is it stationary?
It is on top of. I can move it down. Let me see.
But you know what? If it's too much, don't go there.
Yeah.
Okay, let's leave be. I should have asked before we went live. My bad. So next time you come on, because I'm saying you're going to be back.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be back.
So,
all right.
So definitely. So, Paul, do you want to open it up or me?
For sure. I can open it up a little bit, kind of something light that I want to find out, because I love boxing as well. So I do want to hear a little bit about, your start in boxing. But before we go there, I gotta give you the trilogy. You gotta let me know which one is your favorite, right? And this is my in terms of middleweight, light heavyweight. Who is your favorite? Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvin Hagler, or Thomas Hearns?
Wow.
You got the three. You got the three.
I got the three. Well, that's a good question. When I fought as a boxer, maybe you can't really see from my sitting position, but I initially started as a welterweight, then a super middleweight. But I was given the nickname the Hitman by my club mates. I fought out of the Cabbagetown Boxing Club.
Right.
And because of, I was about to say, I was 6'1", about 150 pounds, and tall and slim, and kind of fought in a similar way.
Right.
And he was my favorite of the three. Sugar Ray Leonard, you can't really argue it. Not that I didn't like Sugar Ray Leonard, but you picked three of the best boxers in that weight class at really any time. That were competing against each other, and as you probably know, they all fought each other.
Yes.
So Sugar Ray Leonard was an awesome, one of the best ever, and it's someone actually I had the pleasure of meeting and getting to know a little bit, not too much.
Nice.
My fighting out of the Cabbagetown Boxing Club, and he managed a stablemate of mine, Sean O'Sullivan.
Oh yes.
I remember that. Yep, I remember that. Yeah.
Won a silver medal at the Olympics and went on and was trained and managed by Sugar Ray. So he came into Toronto a few times, and I got to meet him. But even with both of those, I have to, when I look back at it, the best of all three was Marvin Hagler.
There you go. That's right in the middle. Yeah.
Man, he is when it comes to boxing, a boxer's boxer, tough, talented, all the necessary things. And he had that one loss to Leonard, which again, a lot of people, that's kind of debatable if he did lose or not, but it was an epic error between all three of them. So
beautiful.
I can pick anyone, but all three of them I love. Of all three, my favorite though was the Hitman, just because of his style, and he went on to, I think it's 5 world championships he won.
Yes.
Great boxer as well, but you can't really find three greater boxers at the same time competing in that mix. And even when you throw in a Roberto Duran, although
I was going to say Duran, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But some
All
great,
right.
great
So,
fighters in that era.
so how about yourself? How did you get into fighting in boxing?
You know, it's funny. I was born in and grew up as a kid in Jamaica. My father was one of the biggest Cassius Clay's fans,
Oh,
and he would talk about boxing nonstop. You know, day in, day out. Anytime they have a little activity, he would have a joke that he would always tell, because they used to listen to these boxing matches. And we're going back now to Sonny Liston, Cassius Clay, back in the early days when they listened to it back home on the radio. And you know, there's one of the events that he was listening to, and he said the commentator described it in a visual sense, although they were only hearing the audio. He was describing it, you know, oh, look at him go, and you know, left, right, and he just loved just repeating and talking about that fight. But he was continually talking about boxing, and that's where my love for the sport came from. I emigrated to Canada. My father was still living in Jamaica, but there was some part of it that just resonated with me. And at one point, I came to the point as a young man, I was about 16. I wanted to do something from an active standpoint. And I came down to two conclusions. I could either get into like the armed forces to training and learn some things. And then at one point I decided, well, you know, I'd like to also, I like boxing. I picked up the phone, called the Cabbagetown Boxing Club, and they said, come on down. And I went down there, and that was it. That ended up being the choice I made. And that's how I got into boxing. As a long, scrawny kid. I lived at the time up in Jane and Finch, up on famous Driftwood Avenue.
all
and
right.
up on the bus and go down to Cabbagetown and train. And it just became a routine from there. And I haven't regretted it to this point, and it's still a relevant or key part of my life actually at this point.
Nice. So, brother, Dr. Vibe, I allow you to have a question if you like. If not, I can still go. It's up
Thank
to
you
you.
for your permission. I appreciate
There you
that.
There you go.
Let me ask, what are some of the things that you took, positive things you took from boxing that are still part of your life today?
Okay. There's a lot. One of them is just fitness and health. So as part of FMB is functional mind and body, the acronym for our organization. What we do, we use the sport of boxing. Well, first of all, just myself personally, that's the only way I find that I can really stay fit or to really get exercise. I enjoy that type of exercise. I'm not really a gym guy. And, one of the things I tell a lot of people, boxers, maybe not so, it's not quite the same anymore because there's a lot of specialized training. But over the years when I boxed, I did very little, if any, weights or there's running for the cardio standpoint, but you naturally develop your upper body, so on, just from punching the bags and push-ups, different things like that. But I was never a gym guy, so even to this day, I have a hard time when I go to the gym to really getting a good workout. I end up spending half the time on the treadmill and at least get some running and working the cardio. But so just from a health standpoint, anything I do, if I go for a jog, I do a little shadow boxing, and boxing is always a part of it. So it helps me to maintain my health. And as you would, as you guys know, it's a core part of our business. We've actually taken the positive aspects of it and using the sport to work with at-risk youth. And youth in general. We we do that, and other underserved communities as well, people with disabilities and so on, because it's always an intriguing aspect for someone to learn a little bit about boxing. And in addition to the exercise, there's some fundamental things as well where it's taught me, like discipline, respect, determination, and all of those are core components to a young person really growing up. Mm-hmm. And they remain with me. They're part of my core. They weren't necessarily brought on by boxing. I would say, those were instilled in me more from and more quite appropriately. We're talking about Black men, but I mentioned my father earlier. My father is a man that I was to this point in my life. I'm grateful to have been his son, but he's implanted a lot of things in me, which still remains.
Right.
And I can look at that in fun area.
Nice.
If I have your permission, I want to go a little bit further on some of the stuff you just shared. Can you share with our audience, Black men of any age, especially those who partake in sports, how important, what lessons you can learn being in the arena of sports that apply to your everyday life?
Well, it is one area which many Black men have been able to excel in and maximize some of their potential. Just from based on their background or where they're coming from, sports has offered a good opportunity for that. And I look at people like Muhammad Ali, who I wasn't a big fan of when I was a kid, really growing up. But it's someone I look back at now and look at the legacy, and as I also learn and see more of what he did with the power which he gained, how he used that to help so many people all around the world and the cause of our Black community. So that's something, again, from a boxing and a sports standpoint, Black men, we have men like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who, you respect, people like Jim Brown, who've done similar type things. So sports offers that as an avenue, and obviously not. There are a lot of other areas as well when it comes to people with different levels of education and knowledge and power. Obviously, people like our Malcolm and Martin Luther, all of those individuals there. But sports in general, when I see a person who accomplishes a lot in the sport and then uses it to help our community, I have a lot of admiration and respect for that.
Nice.
Back to you, Paul.
Oh, for sure. So definitely, I love the work that you're doing. And I just want you to share a little bit about the work that you're doing with seniors. Because when we think about boxing, we're thinking, is seniors going to get out there and do their thing? But really talk about the work with seniors and dementia that you've been doing.
Yeah, well, we love that. We love all the areas. It's one thing, I was talking about the program. I was this evening before I came on. We typically Sunday evenings we have a family meeting, but I run the business with both my daughters. So I have two adult daughters, and they both come from that wellness background as well. One's a kinesiologist and a cardiovascular technologist, and has done some work with and some training in neurosciences as well. And the other is in psychology and works with as a degree in disability studies. So that was the impetus that helped us kind of come together and pull all the resources. just lost my train of thought there. Just repeat.
So just let us know about the program.
Okay. Overall, our program, the senior program, we work first of all with 3 different groups. So seniors, kids, and then those with disabilities. The senior program is a unique program. It's the only one we know of that leverages the sport of boxing in general. There's actually another program that I know of which focuses on Parkinson's disease, where they use boxing to help to mitigate or combat that disease. But we're using it to combat the onset of dementia. And the important thing is we work with it on a preventative structure. A lot of people do the program or have programs out there where they're trying to address dementia from a post-dementia diagnosis standpoint. And
Right.
what we've been taught over the years, prevention is better than cure. So we've developed our program to work really through four areas, which is physical activity. They're shown that really helps in your combating of that and any disease. So that's the beauty of this. It applies to everything. We do have some focus on dementia, but physical activity, cognitive activity, hence our FMB, mind and body, functional mind and body. So we incorporate brain activity, brain exercises through a process known as cognitive stimulation therapy. And all that really is verbal questions we engage our group with from 5 areas of the brain, where they talk about memory, critical thinking, computation, language, and visual spatial orientation. And it's been proven that even if you're strong in one area, someone who's great with numbers or great language, you're still susceptible, very much susceptible to dementia. But when you have a well-rounded brain where you're learning different things, your balance, it sets you up to be in a strong position. And we can't ever say anyone is not susceptible to it. We're still always susceptible. But the boxing program, the novelty it brings when we go into retirement homes, work day programs, senior day programs, and so on. And your program is quite relevant as well, because you're dealing with Black men. But when we go out there within the wider community, the men in general are seldom there. We run our program. Typically, we have a group. We run from 12 to 20 individuals in a group, and on about 90% of the times, we'll have about 2 or 3 men in the program, right? And they're all women. Now, we love working with the senior, and the women are very talkative. They love the boxing. They giggle. They have fun. And they love the program because the program has different components to it. Now, I mentioned the physical aspect from the dementia standpoint. We mentioned the cognitive component. Another component of our program is nutrition. So what we put in our body, and I heard you mention earlier about a vegetarian or meal, but that's so important as well in terms of I'm not a vegetarian, but try to be very conscious in terms of what we put in our body. And then the fourth component of that overall wellness is our socialization. As I say, humans are made to interact, to communicate, to connect with each other. So we try and do that. Now, in your intro, I heard you, Paul, mention about playing some games and having people, showing some different personalities. So hit on and it resonated with me because that's very similar to our cognitive stimulation therapy. When we go through it, we're asking questions now, and we do riddles, right? And people are very competitive in it. Within a group, although they might get together on a regular basis, often they don't really know each other all that deeply. Right. So when you get into some communication, you start, doing things, testing them out, how quick they are with, some of the numbers or language. Some people you'll ask, opposite words. We'll do things like opposites or synonyms. And again, sometimes the most interesting answers come from the people who you get the impression that maybe most unlikely. And sometimes we work enough with the groups where you see that. And that also gives them some pride as well with it. But the interesting thing with our program, even if you don't participate, right? If you're not necessarily the first one who puts up your hand or shouts out an answer, the evidence again is that the person sitting there, even in a quiet state, once they're thinking and they're firing neurons, it's been scientifically shown that they're learning, they're actually helping themselves and getting a little, they're maintaining their health. And sometimes it's not a matter of even getting healthier, but it's maintaining what you have, because the human body physically, it shrinks, so does the brain. And if we don't use it, atrophy sets in and things deteriorate. So it's an important part of our module. Now, we're currently, over the last 6 months or so, or 5 months, we've been working with a grant program which focuses all of our attention, or most of our attention. We still have some programs that we need to maintain, but it focuses our attention on the Black community. And this, and that's something I've talked with you about, Paul, but it's extremely rewarding when we are working with different Black organizations, and we have these ladies in, and they love the boxing, they love the brain activity. The boxing is one component. We also complement the boxing through mobility, which is very much relevant to seniors as well. So my daughter is a kinesiologist. She specializes in mobility. So we have the ability to complement things, not necessarily boxing all the time. And in some cases, we might only do mobility. Some cases, we only do boxing. And others, we have the ability where we'll alternate from week to week or month to month with them, and give them some variety in terms of the programs.
Nice.
We've also been able to do with the boxing. Now it's non-contact boxing, so we're typically using punching pads. And what we've actually come to establish, it didn't set out that way. We started out with the intention that the cognitive component would be through our cognitive stimulation therapy, or we simply call it brain training, which is the form of, audible communication within the group, and questions and answers and so on. But after we got into the boxing, we realized that there's another cognitive component, and that's the punch combinations. So there's 6 punches in boxing, 1 to 6, straight left, straight right, left hook, left uppercut, right uppercut. Now, you can imagine me going for a senior and I go, okay, let's do a 1-4-3-2. We always start off, and we show them the 6 punches. We start off and we gradually build them up. So we'll say, okay, we're going to do a 1-2-1, which is just straight punches, 1, 2, and 1. All right. We can switch it up a little. We go, 2-1-2, which is now a right, left, right. And what we do, we get them to repeat these, and we're in front of them with the pads. They go at their own intensity. So although it's a group program, we typically have 2 trainers coming from opposite sides of the room. We typically have them, in most cases, we have them seated, but we often will encourage them to stand if they're younger or more agile seniors. But we accommodate for someone who's not able to move. And we work, well, if they're in a wheelchair, again, we're able to do that. And then in some cases, again, although it's boxing and they get the fun from it, we're not looking to build any or send anyone in the ring, obviously. So
that might be interested, but go on.
Someone with, maybe early onset of dementia, or someone who's, 70 or 80 years old, sometimes the objective is just getting them to stretch their hands out and doing that, or tapping the pads. but the sequences are important as well, and we control that as well by the pace. If we have a younger senior who's quite vibrant and moving, we just get them to go faster. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 2, 3, 4, and we get them to we keep it from a simplistic standpoint. We give them the combination. We change the combinations as we go through the room. So we'll do one combination. We start with a simple combination. If they're handling it well, we speed them up. And so that's how we challenge them a little bit more. And we ask them to do 10 repetitions of the same combination. So they have to now follow that sequence. And sometimes their mind is telling them, their body is trying to do one thing while their mind is doing and they quickly realize that, wow, this is something fascinating, because they'll try to punch and they realize, no, it's wrong hand, and they punch with the other hand. And we also have the ability. What we do is now we mix up the flow a little bit. So as opposed to, we look at something like a 1, 2, 3, 4, where you're left, right, and now we tell them to do a 1, 3, 2. So it's now left, right, and we create different patterns and motion of the body. And when we have them standing as well, because we teach that punch and the power in most sports, whether baseball, basketball, sports like golf, tennis, most of the power and the balance and strength comes from your legs. And same thing with boxing, not really from the arms. The arms help and enable you to do different, to kind of complement the other things, but the balance, agility, speed, power comes from really your lower body. So we emphasize that and show them that. So when we get them up again, when they have to punch these different combinations, which we systematically put in place and challenge them, then their balance comes into play. And we always love to do things like uppercuts, where we get them to exercise the biggest joint in the body, which is the hip, and the most dangerous if for seniors falling.
The hips, the hips,
breaking your hip or damaging your hip can lead to a rapid decline. So there's that benefit as well. So the uppercuts allow them to roll, and we let them exaggerate a little bit in the movement and get movement in their midsection or around their hips. Another thing that people aren't necessarily conscious of, but by hitting the pads, we help to guard against osteoporosis. Right? So when you hit the pads within the arm, and even a little vibration, for those who are able to hit it hard enough, right? So there's a lot of different benefits there that comes from it. It's something which, again, 99% of them seniors that we put through this program, I've never put on a boxing glove or know nothing about boxing before. The first thing they want are some pictures, and even their retirement homes, they want to send that back home to the kids, kids and grandkids. So
adding to, as you mentioned, grandkids, not to cut you, as you mentioned grandkids, I think one of the important things I heard you mention in this, and I want to kind of get you to explore a little bit more, is you were saying that your daughters are part of the business. So what role or how important is it to have family as part of the business for you? And your daughter, and again, we don't want to stereotype, but a lot of times we're thinking boxing and men. We don't really think about women as much as men. So how did that come about, and what is that relationship like working with your daughters in this business?
Yeah, well, it's been it's been a pleasure. I love working with my daughters. We've always had a strong relationship, throughout their lives. We've it's something, this mutual respect, and I try and always treat my kids as adults or as individuals, and try to give them a say or an opportunity. But the ability as well, and as Black adults, business is something which I have always encouraged them to. It's not my first business. I've done another business before, primarily when the kids were babies. myself and my wife. But I come from a background in electrical. I'm an electrical engineering technologist, and get into some of the stuff like automation, industrial automation, and robotics. Did some of that business at one point down in Jamaica, where I transplanted and returned back home and did some stuff there. But the kids, I like to be in a position to set an example for the kids. And we all came together to put this program together because they individually went out, and the programs that they learned had some connectivity to what we eventually came up with. One of the other core components behind it is there is really a spiritual awakening, because we look at this as really as a family calling. The three of us see it in terms of the importance of giving back and working with, and that's why we focus on the underserved communities, people with different challenges. But it's a pleasure working with my daughters. There's one is full time in the job. My younger daughter helps and works with us, but she works on a full time job outside of the business.
So that's great. That's great.
Overlook my wife as well, who's I'm surrounded by women, but wherever we're at, obviously with myself and our kids, both our kids. She's not far behind. Well, she's typically right around or in some way. But it's been a pleasure working with them, seeing them grow. As I mentioned earlier, every Sunday evening we sit down and we have a business meeting just to talk about what's happened during the week. So, even my younger daughter, as I mentioned, she no longer lives at home. She's on her own, but she connects in, and we it's something that, seldom, it has to be something serious that goes by that we don't have that meeting. If it's a long weekend, sometimes we might have it on a Monday as opposed to the Sunday, but it enables us to connect and continue work together. And our program with the vast community that we reach, because we operate on a mobile platform, so we work we have clients, organizations we work with from Bowmanville all the way out to Mississauga and up into Brampton. But although we talk about the boxing, as I mentioned, she's a kinesiologist, and the mobility, we were able to do some unique things with the mobility as well. And her knowledge, and this is my older daughter, Shakia, her knowledge on the topic of dementia, she's also educated herself on that, and has a vast array of knowledge. But the pleasure I get when on a daily basis I'm hearing from clients, because she'll go, we don't typically work together. When I say that, we seldom at the same place at the same time, but she'll be at a place, I'll come in there next week, and we alternate and move around. But when I go into a space, I get a lot of compliments in terms of just the professionalism, the knowledge level, and the compassion, the caring of my kids, and that makes me, that would make any man proud. So that's something I am very much proud of, and I'd like to leave them, where we have built a legacy, something that's sustainable, and there with both in the professional training that enables them to keep something like this going. So it's built. We're at the point where we're building it together, but it's being built for them, and I hope it continues to progress where there's something that's there even for their kids when they come along.
All right. Legacy building, always something that we're trying to push on the show. Dr. Vibe, do you have a question you want to chip in?
Yeah. When I first was introduced to your business, the word functional really hit me. So I'd like to know, how do you define functional in mind and body?
Okay, well, that's a good question. Functional, the way we look at functional is, in a sense, practical. practical mind and body, being able to use your body to accomplish things that you need to do on a daily basis. And likewise with the mind as well. You know, when we started out, we kind of used a phrase which is maintain independence as you age. All right. So in order to maintain independence, you have to be physically, to some degree, physically able. Well, let me correct that. You don't necessarily have to be, because obviously there are a lot of people who are still independent and might not have certain physical, abilities. But you're in a better position to remain more independent if you are. And same thing from a cognitive standpoint. So the mind and body in tune to keep them fit, able is our objective. And by doing and facilitating both of them, it makes people able to be more independent. There's also one other point which helped us in terms of facilitating the business, and it comes from my older daughter Shakia. In part of her studies from a kinesiology standpoint, it's also been shown scientifically that the mind is able to function a little bit better when you're active. Mm-hmm. So she always encourage that when you have blood circulation and movement and blood flow, and more blood flow, increased blood flow in the body, the mind is, it's again, blood circulating, neurons, different things. You're able to grasp more, and your brain is just more active. So they go hand in hand, and that was that's the reason why we actually came up with both of those, right? Mind and body. Another interesting fact relating the two of them, and it might not be quite to your question there, Dr. Vibe, but I think it's relevant to know how we bring both together. Myself being a former professional boxer, every boxer gets hit, concussions. Yes, I've had concussions and so on. So one of the things, I've taken some proactive steps. I came to know of a program at UHN, the University Health Network, which is a post-concussion study that they've been doing with, and I'm watching the news one day, and you're relating to football players. And I said, hey, that sounds interesting. And I reached out to them. And I believe in being very proactive. And that's one of the things I encourage my kids to do, and our employees as well. But I reached out to them and found out a little bit more about the program. I told them I'd like to be a part of that program. And I've been part of it now for about 15 years. But that going into that program was something where they, it really, every 3 or 4 years we go in, it really take 2 days of testing where they analyze you, MRIs, spinal tap, and a slew of cognitive questions, and using computers, doing different things for your visual, remembering certain pattern sequence. It's just an extensive amount of things. So that kind of encouraged me as well. And same thing with our kids, because I had taken that step to try and keep my mind sharp, or try and help to preserve my mind. That kind of had an impact on them, and they saw the importance of it. In addition to that, both their grandmothers, both their grandfathers are not with us anymore, but both their grandmothers are older Jamaican women. My mother is 89, and their mother or their other grandmother is 83. Both of them own their own home and live independently on their own, and function and do awesome things for their age, and quite sharp cognitively. You don't do anything with. So that also inspired my kids. They said, well, they want to have people to keep them functional like their grandmothers. And again, both of them are quite independent. They just get up one drives. My mother-in-law drives. My mother has never driven, but she jumps on the bus whenever and travels around Durham and does her thing. Very seldom I really have to go. She likes to go out on her own and do different things. So
nice.
they've been and remain an inspiration to us as a family and to my kids as well. So that's how some of these things came together, from the boxing experience, from just our spiritual beliefs and our foundation, and I attribute that coming from my father, who was a very God-blessed man as well, and he implanted that in us, and it was good to see it go down through the generations and to come in and try to do some positive things to impact. One of the biggest challenges when we look at something like dementia is one of the biggest challenges from a societal standpoint that we have right now, and how to deal with it.
All right. Okay, Dr. Vibe, you have a question, or do you want me to?
I always have questions. So
listen. You go ahead. You go ahead, because I know you need to get your questions. So go ahead, brother.
Yeah. So with the wide range of clients, do you see any common health challenges
within our client base?
Yes.
Or is it diverse?
I'd like to speak to or answer it in respect to our Black community.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, quite relevant. What we've been trying, what we've seen, and what we try to encourage. This is known to the general community, not only the Black community, but in general. The older Black community, or Black community in general, don't really trust the medical establishment, right?
Yes.
And because of that, we see that there's a lot of information, relatively simple information that they don't know. It's more so within our Black community, but it's not the Caucasian community isn't all that much different. There's a lot of simple things about dementia that and illnesses in general that a lot of people don't know. So that's one of the common aspects. But within our Black community, we have a compounding problem where it's not just on the medical side, but the resources which are available to our senior community, things which are available in libraries, with different community organizations, we tend not to participate in them or go out to them, and sometimes we'll restrict ourselves maybe to the Black organization, and there are fewer of us and fewer resources, and often even from my business standpoint, working within the Black community, typically there is substantially less funding available to them for that nonprofit space, as opposed to a lot of these other wider organizations. But we encourage, one of the things, anywhere we go, we try and encourage our Black seniors to one of the things is one of the programs we do in the Dementia Resilience Calling, and we term it Building Your Support Circle. And one of that is to come together in small groups, because often, and understandable, they might be intimidated. A Black person going into a program they're running at the community library or other things, because they might feel, well, they're going to be the only Black person there, and people don't really understand, or the foods are different. So again, our programs, we try and adjust everything to relate to the respective foods of the Caribbeans or the continent of Africa. But we encourage them to go out, and we try and give them little tools to be able to do that. And one of the things that we encourage is, build small groups within your community. So not the 20 people. Say it. We work with, and I'll give a plug to like the JCA, the Jamaican Canadian Association.
Yes.
Sometimes you have a large group there, but sometimes you have 4 or 5 people who are in one common area. Just say they live in Etobicoke, in maybe a same complex. you build those small groups and you support each other within the community. You as I say, it takes a village sometimes to build that support infrastructure.
Right.
But you get the picture anyways. Yeah, so we encourage them to support each other and help to break down some of those barriers, because it's a little easier if at least 2 of them, but 3 or 4 of them go into a venue or an event that's taking place, which are for seniors on a whole. But because you have your, you can say your compadres or your buddies there with you, it makes it a little bit easier that, you're comfortable. You're a little more comfortable as opposed to
makes sense.
left out of the discussion, the information sharing, the resources which are there.
For sure. So I want to kind of like maybe around it to the young people. So I've had the pleasure of you coming in and working with some young Black boys in our rites of passage group. But in terms of working with the young people, and I know one of the things, so I'll speak as a parent and a community member. Sometimes the concern when people think about boxing, they think about violence, they think about aggression. So what positive things can young people get by being in a program such as yours?
Yeah. Well, one of the things is we don't put them competitive against each other. So what we try to do is take the best of the sport. And again, even I don't promote boxing even on a general competitive level. I'll watch the sport, but if I had a child, I wouldn't put them in that sport, just based from my experience and what we now know about the sport. And not only that sport, same thing with football, hockey, some of these contact sports. But I lost my train of thought there again.
Positive aspects.
Positive aspects, yeah. And that's one of the areas as a boxer, I pride myself in that, in working with the young community, because I find a lot of what I typically try to do is find analogies, using the sport of boxing to find analogies to life. So, and we have a program that we've designed called the Corner Project, right? And the aim of it is, we kind of use the phrase knowing when to retrieve to and when to avoid corners. And we use the analogy of boxing. Within the fight, you want to stay out of a corner. And we try and keep with that mentality, working with young men and young women as well, is to keep them out of getting trapped in corners. Right? So from the boxing standpoint, and we try and relate that to life, and we incorporate those in some of those cognitive training sessions. And then the cognitive session gives us a wide array of things that we can do. I mentioned earlier those 5 components of brain training, but we use it to deliver information like this to young men. And when we did, for instance, with your program there, Paul, we covered topics. We use those discussion periods to talk about discipline or self-esteem. And we do that with various programs across the city. We go as far as using the program to teach physics. So we talk about acceleration, gravity, force, torque, and when you throw in a hook and relate to it, and hoping at again these kids from seeing some of it and relating to it a little bit differently, they get a little better grasp on some of the topics. But the analogy to boxing from within our Corner Project program that we run, what we do, we go through, we teach them the boxing, but we then come and we talk about some of the aspects like we relate boxing and a boxer coming into the ring, and feeling the surface of the ring. So the boxer is assessing his situation. Tension on the rope. So you see a boxer, you see it in wrestling and boxing, a boxer will lean back on the rope just to see if it's a loose rope or if he falls through, if the ropes are tense. and the a ring can be, you know, foamy, thick, a slow ring, which gives an advantage to a more plotter or puncher as opposed to a boxer. And then you have fast rings which are, you know, the foam is, you know, like the stuff in the gym floors, the Good Life or one of these places where it's very fast. Right.
Yeah.
So we use, that's an example where we teach the sport of boxing, but we relate it to life and say, you know, wherever you are, to our young youth, you have to assess your situation, and you want to try and do that as soon as possible. And again, even in from a boxing standpoint, when a boxer needs to know is how strong is his opponent, whether the strengths of his opponent. So you might need to get into a clinch as a boxer with your opponent to see if, you know, he's got Mike Tyson type strength, if he tosses you around or not, or if you can toss him around. So you establish different things. And yeah, I think it's very important for our young generation to try and think in that way, and you know, test their surroundings in a positive way. You know, and you'll, no matter what you do, you'll always have some or a few that kind of go off stray. But for the most part, you know, it works fairly well. Within the Corner Project, we have 10 of those topics where we relate boxing to life, essentially analogy to life. The other aspect, which is very important as well, it's been shown and used right across, you know, I'll probably say on a global basis, where you take at-risk youth, some of that aggression. One of the best ways to curtail that aggression is by getting them with that discipline, control, and also very important, being able to give positive affirmations to a youth. And we work with various community organizations, and sometimes from time to time we'll have sometimes where it's a poor turnout, and we have 3 or 4 or 2. We've had one where it's one child that comes out, and you know, we're able to pour into that child, give them a lot of one-on-one. It's really a personalized training session, and not nothing, but it's very important to a child when you're able to say, "Oh, great job," or "You're awesome," you know, and they're able to absorb that. So we get the opportunity to do that on a essentially a daily basis, you know, and sometimes to all 3 of our cross section of clients, the seniors, the you know, the kids and youth. More relevant, I think, to kids and youth, and so then to seniors, but also to those with disabilities. You know, and when I say disabilities, strong focus is really in the autism spectrum, is what we focus on. Yeah, but there's so many positive aspects of the sport. There are a few negative, but we find just by keeping away from the, you know, the combative component of it, we teach all the other aspects, speed, you know, agility, quickness, a lot of different routines that we can that we do. We get them tired, which you know, some of the youth programs, the parents who come in with them really love that of it. And again, even the parents are all the mothers, you know, but they love the program, and you know, I can only assume that the kids typically sleep better, just from being a little tired and worked out.
Nice.
That's a lot of positive aspects to it.
That's perfect.
We know people like you know, we've had cases like you know, Mike Tyson is a typical example. But those scenarios where you have kids which are growing and they're in challenging you know, circumstances, and when left alone, that's when they get more aggressive, more frustrated, angrier, and more will go the wrong way. When from what I've seen, even in my personal experience, you know, I lived up in Jane and Finch, and I went down to, you know, I knew a lot of people from the boxing club who lived in Regent Park, those communities. But it actually did the total opposite. The boxing enabled to give kids a level of confidence, and obviously this one is more what we're our competitive boxing, but and that still has some benefits, because I was able to travel around the world, different places, to even just travel in Canada, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are and a lot of kids are not here. Well, when they first put me in a plane and sent me to Sault Ste. Marie or something for a tournament or a boxing match, and
Mm-hmm.
I have been able to go out in the West Coast. With Sean O'Sullivan, we had Willie DeWitt, which was was a heavyweight at the time, who won, I think, a gold medal.
Yeah.
At the Olympics.
Yeah.
I've been to training camps out in Calgary, in the plains of Calgary, and as a professional, I've traveled to. I fought in Italy as an amateur. I went to Ireland and made tours with people like Lennox Lewis, is someone which I knew, and we fought at the same time as an amateur. So the exposure and the people that you get from that as well, and the confidence that it builds. I've never been, and I would say most fighters I know have never been in a fight outside of the ring. You will always, there's always exceptions, right? But it's not not what most people would come to think, that, well, if you teach somebody how to fight, the first thing they're going to do is go out and fight. And boxing is actually, it can be shown to me. It's not something that anyone's really done a scientific study on. But just from what I know and what I have seen, it has the negative effect. You gain confidence, and someone who can fight will say, "No, I'm not going to bother hitting you. You're a joke."
Yeah,
and
exactly.
You're likely to turn and walk away from something, because again, you're trained. You've had different people. You have a level of confidence in yourself and what you're able to do, and you can hurt that person. And for the most part, the most boxers have a rational way of thinking, and will follow that based on what they know can be repercussions or discipline that they might suffer. And they don't want to typically lose that, especially if they're good at what they're doing.
Right.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So, yeah. And I get that question a lot from the autism community, because and we've been working with that community now. Our first partner that we partnered with is an organization in Bowmanville by the name of Autism Home Base, and we're still running a program with them. I think we're now 4 years with them. But I've had other organizations that work with autistic kids question that, and I give them the same answer, is that, to this point, we've never had an issue where it's created a negative situation. But
which is good.
Had so much productive and positive aspects coming from it. And I can't say, there's nothing we can do to say that will never happen. That you always run the risk, no matter with population or which group, you'll always have someone who kind of goes off the rail that you can't really control. But for the most part, our experience has been positive. And in general, you mentioned Thomas Aaron's, the Kronk's Gym in Detroit, places in Detroit, Philadelphia, some of the toughest neighborhoods around the world, not only in the U.S., Europe, Russia, everywhere. Cuban boxers, some of the roughest neighborhoods and toughest areas. The sport of boxing has been able to uplift people, bring them out, and very few of them become people who assault others or take advantage of their skill set to beat up on people. I say every now and then you might have a situation, but it's a very small.
For the most part, again, people understand that it's a discipline, and again, it's not made to be aggressive to other people. So if folks who want to find out more about FMB, what's the best way? I mean, we do have some things on the screen. What's the best way to connect? And I know that you're looking for starting some programs in Durham, so maybe go over that. And
well, I mentioned earlier that we in partnership with the Durham Region Association of Black Professionals and Entrepreneurs, DRAPE, out in this region, they have a grant which we partnered with them, and we've assisted in writing and preparing the grant. We're in it along with about 5 other organizations, really all centered around Black health. And right now we have funds allocated to us. We're looking for other organizations that we can bring this program to, whether it has 2 components, really, youth and then the senior program. And within the senior department, there are 2 segments. Both we have weekly programs that we're able to run, and we typically do them for a 3-month period. So we want to keep it where we want to build some sustainability, not just one and done with it, but we want them to come back week after week after week, and we impart into them. And then we also, within the seniors, we have a dementia resilience, a preventative approach, which has 4 segments to it, where we look at all those different areas of dementia and different things that can impact it, and give a lot of general information, like how the loss of your hearing increases your risk of obtaining dementia, and some of the other common illnesses like diabetes and things like with your blood pressure, and all of those things which negatively affect the Black community are all precursors to or all increases your risk of getting dementia. Hence why we're at a higher we're disproportionately represented in the dementia community because of that. So if someone, we're looking for organizations, we primarily work on a B2B, business to business level. So we often work with organizations. We have began, and the program you mentioned in Durham, we do programs now in Durham where we really run it under functional mind and body, as opposed to partnering with other organizations. And I came to the discussion with Paul because of your organization there, NSA communities.
Right. That's true.
But we're looking for organizations that we can partner with. We're able to supply the program or facilitate the program at no cost to the organization, and we're able to do that on a weekly basis. And in the case of seniors, we're able to do it on a weekly basis, plus the educational segments, which are 4 3-hour segments surrounding dementia, and a load of information. When we come, we give documentation to the participants, because one of our objectives is for our people to be able to leave and still have some things that they can retain and go through. We teach them what they can do at home with the cognitive stimulation therapy, little games they can play with their kids or their grandkids to keep their minds active and sharp. And again, how to build different support systems in place where you're aging in place. And we do that not just only from what we do, but collaboration is a big part of what we do. So with all the organizations we work, we come together. What's the organization's objectives? And I tell people I love this word malleable, because everyone I talk to, I tell them we're malleable. We fold ourselves into their organization and fit the need that they need. And if that means we need to adjust our program and, as opposed to doing our standard CST, we're now given facts about the continent of Africa, or having, subject focusing on geography or kids. We do that as needed.
Nice.
So,
all right. So we do have a question.
There's a lot of information, functional mind and functionalmb.com. There's a lot of information. Right. There's information pertaining to the grant and what it covers, and there's our phone number and email contact, which are available on there. Our socials as well, Instagram and Facebook. My daughter is very active on she's the brain trainer on Instagram, and she's there as well. But we're all tied in, so there's a lot of information there. Sorry, you were saying you had a question?
No, go ahead. Dr. Vibe, did you want to pull up the question and then we can wrap?
Yeah, there's a question from Frequency of Air Promotions. What do boxers typically eat if they would like a lean body type of structure?
Whether you're a boxer or not, you want to eat just healthy, and eating healthy, meaning, you try and cut out all preservatives or preserved food. You want to eat natural or live foods, greens, vegetables, grains. So certain things, like I'm a big fan of, my wife will always make oatmeal porridge, but steel cut oats. There's so many different things out there. One of the challenges, we have to live healthy. You have to really invest the time, and it's also expensive, more expensive than junk food. And again, that's been well documented. But it takes a lot of time because there's just so much out there, and it's not just fruits and vegetables. Again, a lot of things, like a lot of people are under misconception that fruit juice is really healthy, and and again, that's not the case. But unless you're brought to your awareness, but I would say good quality fibrous foods. What everyone tells you, the greens, vegetables, fruits. On the liquid side, you want to stay away from the bad stuff, the sodas and the juices. More water, and if you're drinking juice, because juice isn't all that bad, but in a lot of cases we dilute them, and things like even on a fundamental basis. We don't eat typically in the household. My wife is a nurse, so that's where a lot of that's helpful, because from a health standpoint, she drives a lot of that aspect. But we try not to eat white bread. We will only eat the whole grain bread. Some of the things that you can substitute as opposed to rice, we will eat a lot of quinoa, or what's the other one there?
Couscous.
Couscous, yes, and quinoa are a couple of things that we use that are higher in protein. We don't use milk. Well, we don't use cow's milk, but we use almond milk or something else. And those are some of the fundamental aspects. But whether you're a boxer, I know that's specific to boxing. Boxing, like most things, most sports, you need a lot of protein. And there's been a big shift as well now to plant-based protein, where it's a lot more accessible and more choices available as opposed to meat-based proteins. Because again, with the meat, there's again a lot of information, documentation and documentaries showing that meat, unless you know where it's coming from, or if it's organic, fed and so on. It's the source of a lot of our illnesses that goes into our bodies. So you now not only have to know what to eat, but you now have to know where it comes from, not just what it is, because it could appear, fruits, vegetables, all that stuff, but it can be just as bad for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that is a wrap. Terrence, I want to say thank you for taking, most important thing, your time to share with us this evening. It's appreciating it and enjoying some of your journey, some of your family's journey, and some of your manhood journey with us tonight. Really, really great and informative. And
it's been a pleasure.
Pleasure and honor is ours. And if there's anything Paul and myself can do to help out, don't be afraid to reach out. As always, don't just manage your time, manage your energy, and remember to give yourself grace.
Yes. Well, thank you, brothers, and you guys keep up the good work. It's necessary work out there to try and get our men connected and tuned in, and just knowing what's happening out there.
All the best.
Thank you much.
Faith.
All right.
All right.
That was a nice conversation. It was
a wonderful conversation, sir. Any one takeaway you have from it?
Definitely. The whole aspect of prevention. So staying active, not just physically, but mentally. That importance of that piece. And then also a challenge. I'm going to put out a challenge to our brothers, because it seems like Terrence has this great program, but there are not enough brothers that are involved. So I'm going to put a challenge out to have a Black Men Can Talk boxing program with FMV. Right?
boy.
So yeah, brothers our age, our stage.
Boy.
Yeah, we gotta stay sharp. We gotta be sharp like Dr. Vibe. You know what I'm saying? Like we gotta stay sharp. So I'm gonna put that
Dr.
challenge
Vibe,
out there.
some people would think Dr. Vibe's a little overage, but as I always put it out there, I visit my doctor every month. It's not because I have any illnesses, but you know what? While I'm not paying for it, I want to look after my health because your health is your wealth.
That's
right?
it. Yeah,
I go to my
for
doctor
sure.
every month. Like when I go in the office, before I see him, the next appointment is booked.
Hey, listen, free eye checks for young people under the age of 18.
100%.
Hey,
100%.
take
So
advantage,
for me,
right?
and Tara says that's a good idea, going to the doctor every month. There you go. So I would say for me, so many takeaways, but the service to our elders, I love how they're focusing on that. That is so critically important. And we really have to be intentional and functional in regards to taking care of our elders.
All right,
That's
I
for
agree.
me. All right. So before we call it, if you want to get a hold of Kofi Sadat, there he is. There's his email address. There's his Instagram. The great Maroon. I love that. On Instagram, NASA Community on YouTube, Facebook, Paul Osbourne 31. Our dear friend Kofi Morris. Hopefully we'll see him soon. Email address, get
big up
fit.
Kofi.
Yeah, getwillstayfit@gmail.com, Instagram @KofiCoach_ and Cosmic Wellness Group, and also Facebook Kofi Coach. For me, making it really easy. If you want to get a hold of me, there it is. toplink.cc/ the Dr. Vibe Show. Make it nice and easy for you to do. As always, subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show if you can on the YouTube channel, and subscribe and hit the notification button. You can also follow me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Substack. Also, if you want to advertise your business, product, or service on this platform or any other platforms you're involved in, email me, dr.vibe@vibeshow.com. And finally, as we scroll across here, you can watch replays of this epic conversation on the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, LinkedIn, also the Dr. Vibe Show website. And I know that you can also watch on Paul Osbourne's. I got to change that, but I know you can watch on his Facebook, and you can also watch on the NASA Community. I will have that changed by our next show. All right, that will be
all right.
All right. So as always, we say live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes have to get smaller, get stronger. Block assumptions, aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. And don't just manage your time, manage your energy. And remember to give yourself grace. And if you're not making money, make history. Try to do both and always make it better. God bless. Peace to all. Keep the faith and walk good.
Time that our parents, they're like, I have nothing to teach you. I don't know nothing. And they know so much.
My dad's at that point now. It says,
That's my point.
But I'm saying, no, Dad, you got lots more to give. You know how cold it is when these two brothers in their yard.
You know that. You know that. You don't know that, bro. You know
No
that.
joke.
I know we all have these things, but you know what? My go-to is this thing.
Wow.
Black book is in the
Black book.
Men Talk, Black Book.